Assalamu alaikum. I'm still in the process of learning how to do these things, but I just want to make I'm setting the timer, a brief presentation. Um, One of the concepts I want to deal with is I call it validation and extinction. When I taught at Antioch College, I was an assistant professor. I taught there for 3 years, and I taught at Howard University for 1 year, and I taught at Fayetteville State University for 1 year full time, and I don't know, 3 years or thereabouts uh, as a part time adjunct, temporary assistant professor, something like that. Students paid thousands or maybe over $10,000 uh, a year to sit and listen to me talk, teach, share what I've learned. Uh, the concept of validation. Why? Why were they paying that money? Uh, Probably most of those who were serious expected that getting validated uh, with grades and credits and a university degree, that this would enable them to go out into the world and get jobs. Now, in this society, a job is basically a means of getting people who have lots of money or institutions, corporations, to give you money. Uh, and most of the time, the end result of your efforts, our efforts, when we are getting paid, is extinction. And by extinction, I'm referring to pollution. We have industrial pollution, all kinds of industrial pollution, water, air, land. We have microplastics. Are you aware of this? There are microplastics and nanoplastics, even tinier than microplastics, in the environment, all the way down to the bottom of the ocean, the deepest trenches of the ocean, and the ice caps in Greenland and Antarctica. Microplastics, nanoplastics, getting into everything. They are in our flesh, in our bloodstream, in our organs, and they are killing us. Do you understand? I'm talking about extinction. We're working for the people who produce this. And these plastics are made from petroleum, fossil fuels, as they call it, fossil plastics made from fossils. The plastic can be made from anything. And we need to stop making plastic from petroleum because it's killing us. The climate change. There was a river, the Cuyahoga River in Cleveland, that caught fire more than once. Rivers that catch fire. Uh, the fluorides. I don't drink the tap water because the fluorides in the tap water are bad for my teeth. If you look at my mouth on the side here, I have teeth that have crumbled from drinking fluoridated water. There's fluoride in the environment. That's good. Tiny amounts of fluorides. And then uh, the fluorides that it's in industrial waste polluting the environment. And then we have been tricked into paying these people to put fluorides in our toothpaste and in our water. That's it's at the best it's unnecessary. Okay, but it's not helpful. Okay, but they've tricked us into paying them. Okay, so we have fluorides, And then, of course, there's DDT that was used as an insecticide, and um, and that was killing animals. Okay, we have the nuclear standoff. Long story behind that: the war did not end because of the nuclear bombs, and I can go into details about that. Um, and then the psychological illness. There's an increasing number every year. It's increasing mass shootings, almost two a day. Mass shootings because we are having mental problems in the society, and we can go into that. Uh, of course, there's the economic distress. I used to work for Chase Manhattan Bank. I was helping Chase Manhattan Bank take your money. That's what banks do. They take our money. Okay. Uh, and I get paid for it. I did almost nothing every day, almost nothing. But they said that they needed me to be available. The insects are disappearing. Have you noticed this? We don't like insects, so that they disappear, it's like, who cares? Who notices? The insects are disappearing. If they die, we die. They're part of the food chain. Okay. Um, Okay, so those are that's extinction. When we go to work for these corporations, we are helping to destroy the world that we need to live in. And let me tell you something that you may not believe or understand. There are super wealthy people, billionaires, multi-billionaires, who are actually engaged in the process of trying to exterminate people. They say there are too many people. The expression years ago was population explosion, right? Population explosion. Too many people. Um, that's not true. We live in cities, and so we're seeing all of these people all the time. I lived in New York City and crowded, packed trains and everything like that. Most of the earth is empty of people. This is documented. You can find it on YouTube. It shows a picture of all of these places on the earth where there are no people or few people, almost no people. And where I live now, and this is one of the more densely populated southern states, North Carolina, I can drive for miles and not see people, not see anything, just trees, millions upon millions of trees, no people. And this is one of the more densely populated states. No, there are not too many people. Then they show us pictures of Africa. And Africa is one of the least densely populated. Maybe Antarctica and Australia are less densely populated than Africa. But Africa is less densely populated than North America. Maybe about 2/3. Okay. So they want us to think, oh, there are too many people, and they show pictures of Africa. No, 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 no. Full of space, full of space. Okay. Um, Let me just cut to the chase because I'm already past the time that I wanted to use. Let me show you something. This is one book, 7 volumes. It's called The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. It's about 7,000 pages. I read it. Okay, I read it. I didn't read it because somebody was paying me. I didn't read it to get credit for a course or anything. It's an important history. When you saw the rioters at the Capitol, why is there this huge, grotesquely huge dome? We don't need domes. They didn't need domes, what is it, 250 years ago or something, to build a structure. A dome was an advance that enabled people to have open spaces under a roof, large open spaces, right? The dome, an advance in architecture. Don't need it. They have the dome because this society emulates Rome, ancient Rome, the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was one of the worst things that ever happened to people. 60% of the people were slaves. Okay, 60% of the people. So I learned, a few things about the world from reading this book. And then, Allah says to us in the Quran that He created the bee and inspired the bee to go out and to inspire the bee to produce stuff that is helpful and nourishing for us. Okay. Well, I'm like the bee. I consume this book, right? And I can share with you what I learned from this book. That's important. You need to know that the society you live in emulates the slave state, the Roman Empire. Okay. Um, I've read this book, which is the King James Version. I'd sat down and decided one day I'm going to read the entire thing. And I've read this book many times. Uh, this is the Quran. I happen to believe that this is a message from the one who created everything, entire vastness of the cosmos, and he sent us a message. It's in Arabic, but Arabic is easier to read than English. Um, so I'm talking about validation, right? If I was teaching at Fayetteville State University and telling my students untrue things like Abraham is a Jew, that's in the textbook. It's not true. Abraham was not a Jew. Impossible, historically impossible. Judah, which is where the word Jew comes from, was his great grandson. Okay, so he was not a Jew. Pythagoras, they say, oh, he was Greek. No, he was not Greek. He was Phoenician. The Phoenicians were Arab people. Okay, he studied for 22 years at the Royal Academy of Music in Egypt, and he studied in Babylon. Okay, but I was supposed to teach. They were paying me to teach that Abraham was a Jew and that Pythagoras was Greek. And so I'm there to poison my students. The ones who are most serious would be the ones who are most poisoned. So I decided to stop doing that. And then one day they said they didn't need my services anymore. So I'm not validated, right? I'm not validated. Let me tell you something. I studied African history at Harvard, among other things. And the instructor, who was one of the progressive instructors, they have generations of instructors, okay? And this was one of the progressive generations of instructors. He said that Africans did not write their own history. He actually said that, and it's in his book, his textbook. He's validated by Harvard University. And so there were three men that I learned about years ago, but long after I left Harvard. Ahmed Baba, Abdurrahman El-Sadi, and Mahmoud Kati. They were writers in Timbuktu 400 years ago. And this is a history of West Africa written by Mahmoud Kati, recently translated into English. Okay, Africans didn't write their own history. There are entire universities full of scholars, writing history. So anyway, I just want to share before it's too much time. Um, the preservation of the white supremacist regime that we're living under. Okay, they take everything we have, and when from time to time they just kill us. Emmett Till, Trayvon Martin. And then we just meditate on this. Um, uh, I might just actually read something that I wrote called "Wasn't He?" But in the meantime, um, who invented paper? The man who invented paper was named Tsai Lun. I like to spell it T-S apostrophe A-I. Lun, L-U-N, Chinese man. 18 or 19 centuries ago, he invented paper, okay? One of the most influential inventions in history. Um, okay, who first said that the earth is rotating? And that's why it looks like the sky is moving to the west. It's because the earth is rotating to the east. Well, this was a man in India, mathematician and astronomer named Aryabhata. Aryabhata, Aryabhata. And he lived he lived 15 centuries ago. Okay, 15 centuries ago, right? At least 10 centuries before Galileo and Copernicus. And he was the first man known to say that the earth is rotating. That's why everything seems to be moving the other way. He wrote mathematics books and astronomy books, one of the great scholars of all time, Aryabhata. And then, of course, there's Mahmoud Kati, one of the historians who wrote the history of West Africa. Now, I mentioned these three names, Tsai Lun, Aryabhata, and Mahmoud Kati. because you will not learn these names. They will, we always ask, oh, why didn't they teach us this? Well, Thorliv in Africa, Thorliv, they translated as student. It doesn't mean student, it means someone who's looking for something. And that's what we are all supposed to be doing, looking for knowledge, looking for it. Um, it's not, oh, they didn't teach us this in school. What it means is you didn't find it. You didn't go out looking for it. You didn't learn it. Okay. So there's a whole lot of stuff that you can learn. Go out and look for it. Okay. Um, Let me read that one thing before I quit. 15 minutes already. I wrote this years ago. I don't know how many, but this is about people getting killed. We get killed. Okay? Wasn't he? Wasn't he some mother's son before he was killed? Were there no relations or friends who loved and cared for him before he was killed? What has he done in being killed to merit our sudden rage of attention? Did he become? Did he become at death? Did he become somebody at death? At death, did he become somebody to care for? Did we love him? Did we love him before he became? Did we love him before he became at death? Before he became at death, somebody. Did we love him before at death he became somebody to care for? Did we love him enough? Did we love him enough? Did we love him enough to invest? Did we love him did we love him enough to invest anything? A thought, a smile, a word, a hand, and embrace, a commitment, a risk. We say, yes, yes, yes. Yes, we say, oh, yes, we love all our brothers, love all our sisters, because we are all children of the Creator, and we are all full of love. Then, then how is it that I walk past my brother, and in that moment, my retreating back has already forgotten him? So we meditate constantly on how these people are killing us, oppressing us, abusing us. But how much love are we showing for each other? For each other. How much, we see each other on television. Television is an instrument of validation. We don't control it. We don't control it. So how much are we face to face showing how much we appreciate each other? Okay? So this is about all of us. This is about what happens in the society. I'm just going to mention in passing that I would just love it if you just send me, a little something. Okay. Um, but at any rate, I'm going to share with you from time to time what I've learned, what I've benefited from these books. The Decline and Fall of Roman. Oh, amazing! The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Ah, man, what you don't know, what you need to know. Where did this world come from? Okay. So, Allah willing, I'll see you again soon. And may Allah bless you with health and prosperity and peace of mind. Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to share something in the chat. Okay, I believe I've shared it in the chat. And if you want to send me a little something. Okay, I'm working. This is work. Reading, writing. Okay, Allah willing, I will share with you some of the other things I've written. Some of the things I've written, and and hopefully it will help you to make the world a better place. Thank you.